So let's get into why your hair may not be growing while it's in braids or a protective style. First and foremost, when you're braiding hair, your braids should be tight enough to be neat, but not tight enough to pull your client's hair out. There is a difference between being a braider and knowing how to braid, because some people know how to braid, but they are unfamiliar with hair care and how hair grows in each individual. Any type of buckling or folding in the scalp that you notice while your hair is being braided, or if you move the client's head in a certain position and you see that the braids are still pulling their hair, although they're in a relaxed state, your braids are too tight. Now, people who do not wear braids all the time, their scalp may be sensitive. So their scalp may turn red in the beginning, but after a while, it subsides. If a client's scalp is extremely red, that is a clear sign that the braids are too tight. This can cause breakage at the root where you have a lot of little short pieces around your parting section. And this can also cause traction alopecia. Another thing that is very important is the products that you use. You want to use products that are going to seal moisture into your client's hair while they're wearing the protective style. And usually that's grease and some sort of gel product. Now, because there are so many gel products and so many edge controls on the market today, you really don't know which product to choose. But I will say that using edge control on everyone's scalp in every section of their hair that is not the edges, that can definitely cause clog pores and your hair will not grow in that protective style. The overusage of edge control is the culprit for a lot of hair and scalp issues. Edge control is for edges. At the most, edge control should not be used all over your entire head. And if you want to hold on to your edges, curling your edges and curling them on a regular basis, like curling them over and over again, that will cause your hair to be shorter. Your edges will break off from doing this. If you are using a slicking product on the edges, there is no reason why you should need to apply heat as well. And now let's talk about over braiding the hair, because if you put too much weave on a parting section, that causes additional tension from the weight, and your hair is being pulled or weighed down by the weight of the extension. So that can also cause you to experience breakage at the root. There was a time when girls used to braid and your edges would kind of look like a shape up and the braids would be really, really close together and you couldn't see the parts. That was an over braided hairstyle, and a lot of people lost their edges as a result. And the same thing goes for if you braid small. If you have small braids, your hair may not be able to withstand manipulation. If the braids are too small and close together, flipping them from side to side or putting them in a ponytail or pulling them back can make your whole entire braid come out, because there's not enough of your natural hair to support that weave and the manipulation. So the hair is coming out. If you do the rubber band method when you put in twists or braids or any type of braiding style, once you wrap the rubber band around, do not squeeze and pull the hair, because once you add the hair or you braid it, that's going to make the rubber band even tighter. And again, this can cause traction alopecia, and it can also cause breakage at the root. Knotless braids were designed to look like natural individuals. They were never supposed to look like just box braids that just don't have a root. They were supposed to look like a set of your natural hair being braided. Having a knot in your box braids helps to support the weight of the braiding hair being added to your natural hair. And because now there's so much hair being added, that is additional weight that your parting section may not be able to support. And again, we're back to the breakage. And for the love of God, when your knotless braids start getting old, there are ways that you can refresh them and make them look neater, or clean them up and prep them at night, wrap them up, and when you take them down, they will look presentable again. But do not do the interlocking technique at the root, which is using the crochet needle to loop them around and tighten them, because what you're doing is locking your root. So when you go to take those braids out, depending on how long you left them in, you may end up having to comb out locks in your root area, and that will cause your hair to break off. If you are not skilled and patient enough to take your time with the removal. Which leads us to taking out your braids. Now, when you remove your braids, there's a strong possibility that there may be buildup and a little lint at your root. When you take your braids out, you have to take your time picking through your roots to detangle them. And if you don't detangle properly, when you wet your hair, shampoo it, your hair is going to be very tangled, and it's going to be very hard for you to get through it. And your hair may have grown, but if you mess up on the detangling, you're either going to see that your hair is visibly thinner, or you're going to break a lot of your hair off in the process. Now, these are just a few basic things in regards to braids, but let me know if you all would like to talk about it further, because there's plenty more to be discussed in regards to hair care while in protective styles. If you have anything to add, feel free to leave it in the comments, because sharing is caring. And I want all the girls to achieve their hair length goals, okay?